Have you ever wondered if a single piece of punctuation could change the meaning of a sentence? Have you ever wondered why teachers even make you learn punctuation? Are you secretly in high school and still have no idea how to use punctuation? I've got you. I'm here today to help you figure out punctuation and understand exactly how it works. So, stay with me for 5-10 minutes and I will make punctuation make sense. Hi friends, it's Dr. Wassell. I'm so happy to have you here today. I just am going to take some time to show you how punctuation works. So let's start with the basics, right? The period. It's simple, right? We just use it at the end of a sentence to show that it's the end of a sentence. A simple sentence like, I love my dog, period, right? I have my subject, I have my verb, love, and I have my object, the dog. So a simple sentence has to have at least a subject and a verb. I win, right? 2 words is the minimum we need for a sentence. And a period shows us that it's the end of that thought or sentence. Next, let's talk about the comma. The reason I think commas are so misunderstood is they can be used in so many different ways. The first way that most of you, I'm sure, are very familiar with is the list. Right here. Please go to the store and buy bread, comma, milk, comma, cheese, comma, and eggs, period. Super simple, right? Commas are used to separate all the items in the list. The next way that we can use commas is if we have introductory phrase or a descriptive phrase. So let's break this down. An introductory phrase would be like the once upon a time, comma, there was a beautiful young girl. My main sentence is there was a beautiful young girl. My once upon a time is the introductory phrase. So we put a comma after once upon a time to separate the introductory phrase from the main sentence itself. The next way we can use a comma is to separate a descriptive phrase. And this is where we would say something like my dog. If I wanted to tell you more about my dog, I would say my dog, comma, who is kind and loving and sweet, comma, loves to chase her ball. The main sentence is my dog loves to chase her ball. The descriptive information about my dog comes after the word dog and between 2 commas. That is the descriptive phrase. So the next way that we can use a comma is if we join it with a conjunction. So right over here, I'm going to put the fanboys. For and nor, but, or, yet, so. So what is a conjunction? A conjunction tells us the relationship between 2 simple sentences. I like my dog, comma, and I like to take her on walks. 2 complete sentences and separated by a comma and a conjunction. But sometimes those 2 sentences might disagree, like I love my dog, comma, but I don't love it when she barks, period. Right? So there's 2 simple sentences joined with a conjunction that is showing the relationship between those 2 sentences. So that is how we use commas. Next, I want to talk about the colon. The colon is essentially to tell us more information. This can either happen at the end of a complete sentence when we're giving more details, or it can be used at the end of a phrase when we have more details about the phrase. So, world's greatest sister, colon, she was always kind and made my breakfast for me in the morning, period. Right? So the colon is just there to tell us more. It's almost like a magnifying glass that gives us more information. Let's talk a little bit about the semicolon. I can promise you they're going to be on the SAT, and most high schoolers are not properly using semicolons. Adding a semicolon to your repertoire will definitely elevate your writing. So a semicolon is when I have a complete sentence, I love my dog, semicolon, she is kind, friendly, and loving, period. Both of these are complete sentences, and they're joined by the semicolon because the 2 sentences are related. Now, if you've been paying attention, you may notice that this is strikingly similar to the comma and conjunction, and it's the same thing. If the 2 sentences are so similar that I don't need a conjunction, then I can use a semicolon. This is particularly useful for some of you doing your college essays and really trying to trim down the word count. Next, let's talk about the dash. When you can master the dash, you will have elevated your writing. The dash is used to separate a descriptive phrase. So, my dog, dash, who is kind and lovely and friendly, dash, loves to play with her ball, period. Now, you may notice that the dash is doing the exact same thing that the comma did to separate that descriptive phrase. Totally okay. As long as you are using the same punctuation, i.e. using comma, comma, or using dash, dash, it will be correct. This is another one that the SAT loves to throw at you. The other way to use the dash is what I call the soap opera, right? This is when there's a change of tone, right? So if we have the family sat down to dinner, dash, then the phone rang. We know that the phone is an ominous change of tone from what was happening in the sentence before it. So often used in soap operas, often used as a leading change of everything happening in the scene. This is particularly useful for some of you future screenwriters. Next, let's talk a little bit about an apostrophe. Apostrophes can be tricky, but here's the rule of thumb. They show ownership or make contractions. So for example, for a contraction, the word it is, if I take out that second I, it becomes IT apostrophe S, meaning it is. However, if I put ITS apostrophe, then I'm talking about something belonging to someone. Think of it this way. If I'm talking about something that belongs to one dog, think of the apostrophe as a leash, right? So DOG apostrophe S means something belongs to the dog. Whereas if I put DOGS apostrophe, then I'm talking about something belonging to all the dogs. Quotation marks. They're like spotlight operators for specific phrases or dialogue. You can use them for direct speech, like he said, comma, quotation mark, hello, period, quotation mark. It's important that anything that is in the dialogue is in between the quotation, right? That punctuation has to delineate who said what and what is a part of the sentence, right? So anything that is between the quotation marks is actually the quote itself. And it's important that the punctuation for something someone said is inside those quotation marks. Next, the last two that you should know. This is the exclamation mark and the question mark. The exclamation mark is excitement, right? Anytime something is there, really exciting, we don't want to use too many of them, but it shows impact. And the question is used to invite curiosity. For example, are you ready to master punctuation question mark? Or let's master punctuation exclamation mark, right? They have very different vibes. What is most important here is that punctuation is like a roadmap to clear writing. Each mark has a purpose, and with a little practice, you'll see how powerful you can make your words. If you're ready to make every sentence shine, then start small, keep practicing, and let punctuation do the heavy lifting. And now, quickly, let's talk about the punctuation that radically changes the meaning of the sentence. Let's eat, comma, grandma, or let's eat grandma. Two totally different meanings. Make sure that you are using punctuation effectively to communicate what you're trying to share. Wishing you all a beautiful day.